Good morning, everybody. I am here and Happy New Year. It's January 15th, and I'm just here to talk to you about what is going on in our Edmonton real estate market and what has happened last year that would impact this year. Like, how would that actually work? Now, if you haven't seen already, we did post a new video on Friday. It's called Is It Really Worth It? You want to take a look at this video to see if you should actually decide to stage before you list your home. And we will have a new video again this Friday. So every Friday we'll be coming to you with new videos, and I will be coming sorry, I'm also coming live to you. That was not on Friday, that was on Monday. So we have videos Monday and Fridays. Last Friday we actually posted a listing video, and on Saturday we did as well. Those are actually both pending. They're both under contract, and that was really quick. They both listed on Friday, and we are pending pretty quickly after, even with those higher price points. So today I'm going to talk to you about what's happening in Edmonton's real estate market. If you're watching, you can comment live and I can bring up your comments. As long as they pertain to what we're talking about, I'm happy to answer them. We are going to dive into some buyer searches that I'm looking for buyers right now, so you can kind of see what we're looking at, what's available, how we can kind of dig around and understand what their real estate market is worth, even though it's listed at this. What can we possibly get homes for? So, as per usual, we're always going to talk about how many current active listings we have. And we are in the middle of January, and our inventory, our single family homes in Edmonton, continues to decline, and it has been declining for a while now. And I am guessing we should start to see an increase hopefully here soon. What happens is, even if new listings come on the market, if the demand of people buying is higher, they eat up those things. So for example, if we had 50 new listings, but we had 70 new sales in that week, that means it's a net negative 20 active listings, right? So it eats into 50 of the new maybe and 20 of the existing, or maybe it's 30 of the new and 40 of the existing, but regardless, it's negative 20. And so you can see that from week to week, we had about 14 less. So the gap is still closing, but it's not going up yet. My guess is that it should start to go up in February. Our real estate market is extremely busy. So in order for that number to climb up, the demand's not going to go down. I don't foresee that. There's a lot of buyers waiting and still waiting to get there, and a lot of buyers who didn't win their multiple offers. Only one wins out of the five or two or six, right? So there's a lot of people still waiting. So that demand's not going down, but the seller needs to list their homes. I think more sellers will list their homes. I don't know if it'll equal out. I think it's still going to be a seller's market this year. We were in a seller's market last year, and we are still in it now. We've been in a seller's market actually for quite some time. Now, as a buyer, does that mean you have no chance of getting a deal or chance of getting a home? So I think that's the thing that you need to really understand your mindset behind. What is your mindset as a buyer? Are you looking to get 50 grand off to get the deal? Because the deal these days is to get a home without dealing with multiple offers, or the deal is that you actually got the home. A lot of people are struggling to win their multiple offers, and they're just constantly waiting. Now, there's ways that you can get around it. There are ways that you can line yourself up with your agent in terms of working with a mortgage broker, making sure that you have everything sorted out and all your ducks are in a row. The other thing you can do is also look in the new home sales market, which is what we've been doing with some of our clients as well, to beat or not beat, but like not have to deal with multiples. Now, that being said, some builders will entertain multiples, and sometimes, of course, they like them. However, the demand is not as high on those because those are higher price points. We're seeing a huge demand between 3 to 500,000. If you're listing a home in that price point, it's very, very, very likely that you're going to have multiple offers and quite a few. If you don't, you've probably not priced your house properly, because it's very unheard of that your house won't move. And in January, it would be slower, but for sure, it's still moving right now if you were to list your home. If you were to wait a few months, it might make a big difference in terms of maybe more offers. However, there's going to be more competition as well too. So think about that aspect of it. You might think you get more, but you might not, because there's actually more opportunities for buyers to buy because more listings are coming on the market in that time. Now, if you take a look at currently how many sales went into contract this last week, look at the spike that we saw in the last week compared to the week before. We almost doubled. So people are back from holidays, they're ready to go. Our temperature is mild and it's warm, and it's very unseasonably warm because last year this time it was like minus 40, 50, and we are sitting above zero. That's going to help sales as well too. So for anyone listed right now, your home is moving probably quicker than it normally would, even if you are in the higher price ranges, which is what we saw. Still didn't see as much activity in the higher price points over 600, but we're still seeing activity. It just looks different. And sometimes you have to understand as a seller, it's not about getting 500 offers, though that would be nice. The one offer is all it takes, and one offer is all that's going to win it. So we got to keep that mindset in mind as well. So let's take a look at the sold in terms of what happened in the last 7 days. In the last 7 days, this is conditions removed or unconditional offers. We had 133, so again, almost double from the week before. You're seeing that this activity is coming from the first week of January to the second week. We are already in the middle of January, believe it or not, and the real estate market is very, very, very busy. If you haven't heard me say that already, and if you take a look at compared to last year, now this is an interesting number because Edmonton, we had 133 sold this year versus 158. So we had more sales last year. But guess what? The reason why it feels even busier is because we don't have enough sale like inventory, not enough homes to sell. And so though the numbers are lower this year than last year, there's not as much to buy and not as much choices. And so that is why I believe the numbers are lower. If we had more inventory, I think our sales would be higher, obviously, because there's more options. So that's, I think, a big factor, which is leading me to believe that this spring is going to be, we're really going to be pressed. About 4 years ago is when we saw that market where when you go in the house, you better write an offer like the minute you leave. I very much foresee that's going to be happening if it's not already happening now, and it's only going to get more tight. And so there was a time in 2021 that you really weren't winning if you didn't have an unconditional offer. And in the last couple of years, we've still seen multiple offers with conditions. It was sometimes we'd see some with no conditions. We saw some of those last year on our listings, but a lot of them still had conditions. So be aware of that as a buyer. You need to be really well aware of like what are you purchasing. If you are doing something unconditional, and make sure to take the advice of an agent in terms of how are you going to win and how are you going to make sure you stay safe and understand what you're buying. It's really important when you look at the home that you're seeing things. And now a showing is not an inspection, but a showing can very much show you if there's any obvious blaring things. The inspection is going to show you all the things that are not as obvious and things maybe that were missed in that showing. So it's really important to still have that at home inspection. So I'm going to take a look at the real estate market in the West End here because we have client looking for a double attached garage home under 600,000. So this is quite common. I'm seeing people ask for under 600,000, and I want to show you what you can actually get because you think that that's a fair budget, and it is a good budget. But because of what's available right now, there's not a whole lot of options. So if we take a look at single families, and I'll show you actives and pending, you'll see this is right now 2,900 in everywhere. We're going to look at Edmonton, 1,600 now, and then we're going to look at what else are we going to look at? These are the specific areas. We're going to look at the newer ones, so Uplands, Edgemont, Granville, Glastonbury. Now keep in mind the new builds won't all be listed in here, but the majority will be. So this is all on one side of the Henday. Let me just show you. It's specifically for a catchment area for a school. And because my clients doesn't want to move their kids, which is very understandable. So here is the Grange, the Hamptons, Edgemont. We're staying on this side of the bridge, so we're not crossing the bridge here. And so we're looking Uplands, Edgemont, Hamptons, Grange, Glastonbury, all the way up to Rosenthal. And Breckenridge is older, so we're not going to look at that area. And we want to have at least 3 bedrooms above grade. We're not going to put square footage. As soon as you put 2,000 square feet, for example, and higher, you will lose a lot because a lot of those are actually over 600,000. So max of 600, that's 50. I also want detached. I don't want to include any duplexes or anything in there. So we're down to 38. We want to have 2 full baths. That's still the same. Basement, it's okay if it's not developed. So 38 options, that's active and pending. Now, let's take off the pending deals. So there's 4 pending out of that. That's 34 now. And we're going to take, that's a fair amount to look at. The range is from 459 to 599. Now, some of these are detached garages, as you can see, and some of them are front attached garages. So what we're going to do is, she's fine with either or, but I also want to see what's new on the market right now. So days on market, these are the new, brand new ones. So in Edgemont, this is a new listing. Now it's a new build, so it could have been listed before and been relisted, but you can see this house. Oh, interesting. It's like a split level. So this might work well for a family with older kids because you've got your own space. This actually might work out well. Let's take a look at the backyard, and also curious about side entry. So you can see it's not a full 2-story, it's like a bi-level. And it backs onto a road, so that's something to keep in mind. Don't really like clients necessarily buying the back of the road. This basement window is quite large. And do they have a side entry? There is a separate entrance, because that's important as well. Let me just take a look. You notice here with the new builds that you have smaller garages, like this little edge here is quite small. They're basically, you gotta be really careful in terms of if you have 2 cars to fit in there. They're not the same sizes as they used to be, so that's something that's really important if a garage is important to you. In Rosenthal, this one just got listed 2 days ago. And this is, looks like a, yeah, so this is the front door here, you step up. It looks like a Coventry, their other line, I can't remember the name of it, but it's their detached lane homes. So this one doesn't actually have a garage built in the back. And you'll see a lot of places like online, you might see like virtual staging, which is what this is. So it's maybe helpful when you look at it online, but when you're in person, you can't see it. So that's why I'm a big advocate of, if you're listing your home, to actually have it there so people can see it in person. That's a nice sized kitchen for a detached home. Now I don't see a pantry though, and that's something she really wanted. So the only option is you can use the back closet as a pantry or build out something here for a pantry. Now, they have luxury vinyl planking, and you just need to be careful that there are different levels of luxury vinyl planking. Some are thicker, some are thinner. Something to keep in mind when you're looking at the quality of construction of new. This is a decent sized bedroom, but is there a bonus room? Because that is also a criteria. And I see bedrooms. And some of these laned homes do have bonus rooms. This has an upstairs laundry, it looks like, but no bonus room. So that's a deal breaker there. This is another one in the uplands. Again, vinyl plank, you can see it's different. They don't have the lines in between. This looks like a Coventry home layout, the Bianca. There's no pots and pan stores here, so you see the cabinets. Now, what I have seen is that you can buy on Amazon these pullouts that you can put into these. So you can solve that solution, but you have to notice that some builders don't put those in. They cost them more money. And sometimes people aren't mindful of that. So this layout is popular. I have actually sold this layout to quite a few clients with the living room in the back. You might say, hey, there's no fireplace, but you can go to Home Depot and buy one to put in there. And upstairs there we got a bonus room, so that checks off that box. And the nice sized bedroom here. Now the other thing that she would like, is not a deal breaker, is a side entry. So I want to see if there is a side entry. It doesn't say anything there. So we'll have to look at the description if there's a side entry. This is a Coventry home. I figured, yeah, so separate entrance. So this would also fit the criteria as well. Now, possession is April 16th. That's estimated. So anyways, that's just a preview to show you what is currently on the real estate market right now, in those areas. I don't see any comments right now, but if you're curious on what's there, there are options there. We just got to dig and look, and then we've got to move quite quickly. Things will change from day to day. It's Wednesday right now. Lots of showings happen over the weekend, which is quite popular, obviously. The sun is starting to, well, it still goes down pretty early, but as the sun starts to stay out longer, it's easier to have showings later. I don't like to show homes in the dark because you don't see the home to its fullest extent. A lot of natural light is needed to kind of see all the different angles and details of the home. So if you have any questions about specific areas or selling your home, we'll talk about that next week where we're talk about selling to kind of go along with that video that was just posted about if you should stage. So take a look at that video and let's talk next week. Bye guys.